So here are our experts.
Hello.
Hello everyone.
Hello, Denis. Hello, Vladimir.
Hello. How are you guys?
We are very good, Ivan.
Great.
Great.
Nice.
So, let's start.
Yes, let's start. Guys, where did you work before before GFE Solutions? What's your experience?
Yeah. Now I am a team lead engineer in GFE Solutions, but before I worked in several companies, and I have 7 years experience. 4 of them was with software Windchill and Creo Parametric. And then I worked, as I work now, 3 years in Autodesk Vault and Autodesk Inventor. I was included in several projects, and one of the interesting project was all-terrain vehicle, and we created a model completely in Autodesk Inventor and Vault. And today I want to show you what functions we used to create very fast the construction, and then we can also update this construction very easy and without a lot of time. Yeah.
Okay, Ivan, and what is your experience before?
Now I'm a design engineer in GFE Solutions. Before it, I worked at another company. There I worked in SolidWorks, and now I work in Inventor. On my previous work, I worked in SolidWorks PDM2. I was administrator of it, and I made a lot of interesting projects, and today I will show you some interesting things about these programs.
That's cool, guys. So it means that you have 14 years of experience in total.
In summary, yeah, nearly like this.
Don't you feel like a bit old after those words?
No, we are very young together.
Okay, nice. Let's start. I think the first question will be, how do you actually create constructions? Is there any features of that? Denis, you first.
Yeah, I think for this question it's better to show my screen.
Yeah, sure.
That I can show you how it works in Autodesk Inventor and Vault. So now you can see on screen just an example, one of our constructions. It's only beams and some profiles, and I want to describe what's idea of work in this way. You can see here that I have a basic part. I use function derive. I want to show you what does it mean. So I have one part where I have all planes, sketches, solids, and some surfaces that I will use in my construction, in my parts for future. And I have now this model, and when I will update it, all my construction will update also. For example, I can show you that here you can see this model, and I have some sketches, some planes, and my model looks like this now. And if I just will update some dimensions here, like this, and here like this, and maybe the height of this construction, so you can see here minus 1,500. Yeah, and here maybe 800. So I update a little bit this, and here it looks nearly the same. But now I will just refresh my model. Yep, and And here you can see that it looks the same, but with different dimensions. And I can also, for example, change the bottom flange like this, that maybe you can better see how it looks like. This. And then I will refresh again. Yeah, and you can see that it updates automatically. And all connections stay the same, and you don't have any problems with intersection somewhere. So it's this is the idea how you can use this basic part to create big constructions with a lot of sheet metals, a lot of some parts, and you can, for example, I can show you how it works with part. When you have a basic part, then you should create first parts like a sheet metal, and then you use this function derive, and you choose some, and you choose your basic part. And here, when you get this part by derive, you can choose what you want to get from this part. You can choose some sketches, or maybe only solid or surfaces, and you will use only a part of this main part. So this is how it works at derive, and all this part will be assembled without any constraints. You just connect it together like for default, and they will stay in right position. And the second part that I want to describe, this is a frame generator. And in Autodesk Inventor, it realized very, very good. You can create beams and steel structure very fast, maybe in 1 hour if you have a basic part. You can create a big constructions with all connections, and you will not have any intersections between them. So you can see here that this is a frame. This is a new sub-assembly that you will use here, and you just need to click on the frame generator and choose some of the profile, for example, like HEB, and then click on the on some geometry. I can show you if I will have the basic part. Yeah, then I can just choose some lines. Yeah, like this. And here you can see that I have a new beam. I can rotate it, I can change the height of this beam, type of this beam, and so on. And then I will just choose all lines, and then you can see what I have. Also, I can reuse the parts. If I create first one, and I understand that I have the same parts, maybe 20 parts the same, and I don't want to click on all of them like a new part, so I want to say that this is one part and all another the same. So I can use the function reuse. I just click on one part, and then I will choose the same lines with the same, they should be equal, and then I will create this beams the same. And also here, of course, you have a lot of functions that you can trim it, you can shorten your beams like this. You just should click here, and then -200, and it's cut it automatically, and all reused parts was also cut it. Sometimes you have here not right orientation, but you should click on change reuse, and then you can rotate your part, and it will be okay. Yeah, also maybe here, like you can create easy connection between all of them, and he automatically will cut your beams in this way, like you see on screen. So if you will use these two types, like a derived part with basic part and a frame generator, you can create steel structure with sheet metals very easy, and the main idea that you can fast change dimensions, the construction. Maybe you delete something, add something, and you will you can do this in 1 minute. It's very easy. So this is the main idea how we worked with on previous projects, and we continue to work like this now.
I begin feeling like a real constructor. It's interesting how is it in compare with SolidWorks. Ivan, what do you think?
SolidWorks have the same possibilities, but as I have experience in both of these programs, I want to show you differences between these programs. How you can see on my screen, I create the same assembly like Dennis, and but way of this construction another. So I create a base component, but I don't use a derive option. It's like other parts, but I turn on envelope mode, and in this mode automatically exclude from BOM this part, so it part will not be in BOM. So after this I create sheets on this base part, and it's a difference. What about frame? I hide it component. Frame, I think much more better in Inventor, because in this case I create new part, but in Inventor it's a new assembly. I think it's main difference between these CAD programs. So when you create some frame in SolidWorks, we create the same sketches, and on this sketch we create some details like in Inventor, but in BOM this part will like one part, and in Inventor it's the different parts. So I think it's the main difference, and like in Inventor I can show you how I can change dimensions of this part, and it's automatically change all construction like in Inventor. I can change this dimension and other, and this automatically updated all model. Moment. So you can see that it's updated.
So this looks like nearly the same way, but in Inventor we have an assembly with parts from each beam.
Yes,
and
yes.
in SolidWorks we have only one part, like one solid, and you can see just for another engineers, they can see what will you have in future. So they can use it like not like sketch, but like a basic element that they will understand that frame will be like this. Yeah?
Yes, yes. Because in SolidWorks I use a module of weldment, so SolidWorks thinks that it's one part with weld,
one welded part.
and in Inventor it's another way to create it.
Okay.
So you see already first point, like a first difference between CAD programs, but let's go next. Our second question. You worked like separately, one engineer, one project. What about working in a company of engineers, like a group of engineers? How is it realized?
Yeah, of course. If you want to work with 3, 5, or 10 engineers together, you should think about how they connected together. Because if you just have a stick and you will go from one computer to another, it doesn't work. So you need to think what you should do. And of course, people from Autodesk and Solidworks and other companies, they already thought about this. And I want to show you how it works in Autodesk. And you can see on my screen Autodesk Vault. It's a PDM system that with this system it's possible to work together with a lot of engineers, and not only engineers. It can be guys from manufacturing. They can also use the Vault and see what's inside, and yeah, even they also can open this part. Some guy from manufacturer who want to bend sheet metal, he can open and look how it looks like.
Seems like a bit complicated,
Yeah, for Autodesk Vault, of course, if you look on this on the first time, it's not so easy. But they have a browser version, and you don't need to understand how Inventor works or how Autodesk Vault works. You just need to open the browser, log in Autodesk Vault, and then you can see the same. And you can open some files if you have some viewer. You can open the models, you can open drawings, and you don't need to understand anything. You can just need to have a phone or maybe laptop. You will open it, and that's all. So, and here, if we want to talk about Autodesk Vault, not the browser version, I can show you what's the main idea here. You can see here some assemblies and parts and drawings, and of course when you work together with a couple of engineers, you all should know who work on this time with which parts. And here you can see that this cross parts say to us that someone worked with this. And you can of course open it, but you will not see the last version, because the last version will be on one of engineers. He now working with this, and only he can upload last version to the server, to this Vault, and other engineers just can open it. But if you will want to work and have a rights for this part or assembly, you can click checkout, and now you can see that I have permissions and I have access to upload this assembly back to server. And here, yeah, so that's like that's why you can see how it works. And of course, you have a history here. So if one of engineers change something, you can see here who changed it, and of course you can see when he changes here, as I show. And when, for example, as I like a team lead, I want to check something, I want to check construction, and I see that for one of parts, now in latest version something is wrong, then I can just open previous version or maybe the first and upload it and download it, and then check into the server and say no, this is previous version will be the right one. So after half a year you can see how many people works with this part and when it was finished. And you can understand where, how it's finished, because you have a life cycle in the Autodesk Vault for the parts. Be in process, checked or checking by someone, then approved, and then maybe not used if you don't need it. And here you just need to click change state, and you can choose some of the some of the version of like a life cycle. If I'm an engineer, I just now it's in process and I finished it, so I need to change status on checking. And one of the engineers who will check this, he can understand that it's ready to check.
Mhm.
And after this, he of course can change status on approve, or maybe back to in process if you have some problems here. Of course, administrator can change everything here in Vault. He can change the permissions to some access to some folders. For example, I can see a lot of these folders, and maybe not team lead, but one engineer, he can see only one folder, and he can work only here. And this way also can work with other companies. You can open just one folder to this company, so they can work in your Vault system, but they will don't see any other folders, and you may be sure that they don't know anything about your work, but you can see what they do. And yeah, maybe the last one or 2 points that I want to say about Vault, that you can open the drawings without Autodesk Inventor. You can just click here and view in window, and it will be opened like PDF or nearly like this. And it's also can be useful for not engineers, just guys from manufacturing. They can open it, and they don't need to print drawings. And if you have nearly the same constructions, and you just need to change the dimensions, one profile on another, delete some sheet metal, but it will be nearly the same in general. You can use copy design, and it's very fast way to create a new constructions. You just need to click on main assembly, like here, for example, and click copy design, and then you can choose all parts that inside this assembly, and then click copy design, and he will create new one with new names, but with all connections between parts, assemblies, and drawings. And if you don't need to create all new one, you can just say, please create this, and this new one, and for this part, please reuse. So he will get version from the original, but create a new parts for all other assemblies or drawings. So this is a good way how it works. Yeah, of course I can say a lot about Vault, but we don't have enough time to say about all of this. So I think for the first overview it's enough.
Yes, I also think that it's enough for a first review. And now let's compare it with SolidWorks. Ivan?
SolidWorks has the same functional like Inventor, so I think it will be very interesting if I show you this functional from System Administrator. And so how you can see on my screen, it's System Administrator Windows. In this Windows we have a lot different functions. So I think the main it's users. I create my user, so I can show you some properties of it. In this window we can create some permissions for folders. We can see all folders which we have in our PDM system. Each as a folder we can create different permissions. You can see it in these windows, and we can create permissions for a state and transition, and for different functions. And one more main function in the workflow. we have a default workflow. I think Dennis say about it in Vault, so I can describe you how it looks from system administrator. When you create a new part on assembly, you have the under editing situation, and when you want to send it for your team lead, you send it for approve, and we can create some notification if we change the state for approval. Your team lead can take notification about it, and you shouldn't call him or write some message. System will did it automatically, and after this your lead approve it its file, and after this probably you should make some changes, so your team lead change state of under change, and it back to you with change pending approval. So it's very simply workflow, and if you need in your company, you can create more and more difficult for many engineers and other teams. And in this window we have a very big functional to create your PDM system for your company, and I think I described the main function, so I think it was interesting.
And I can just shortly show you how it looks like in Inventor and where you should look.
Okay.
Please look on the on my screen. If you just open the Inventor, you can see here projects, and you can create a file like IPG with a lot of passes that you can say that for project like GFE solutions, you will have libraries, and you say that library will should position there on some your server maybe. So you just include here some passes where he will get information from templates maybe, or from another things. So you will create this a new file and with all passes, and then when you open, and you should open the Inventor with this file IPG. Then he will opens with all templates, and then of course you can customize as much templates as you want. You can create 3, 4, 5 templates for sheet metal, also for another parts, like shafts. You can create several templates for assemblies, for example, but I can show you only on sheet metal, for example. What you can customize here, you can add some or a couple of materials that you want to use in your company, of course with some properties, with some mass, and for each of these materials you can set also rule for bending, because we know all that you have some K factor, and for different companies you can use different K factor because of instrument of bending machine, and you can set it like for instrument that you have in your company, in your workshop, and it's very useful, I think. Then he will automatically create a right flat pattern. with right dimensions to the bending. Yeah. Then you can also customize some in tools. You can open the application options, and here a lot of passes also that you can upload here and say please get something from the file. What else? You have the styles editor where you can, this is not good example, I can open the drawing and show you there. You can customize here title blocks, your formats, and in Manage, in Styles Editor, you can create as much different types of lines of text as you want. You can customize your parts list with a lot of columns that you need, and so on. Weld symbols, and you can also customize for each company. If you create something for one company, you can use standard styles for GFE solutions. If you create for another company, I don't know, for another company, you can customize it for them. So it's a lot of possibilities to create exactly what you want, not only standard that you have in Autodesk Inventor. So yeah, this is in general what you have and what you can add to your work when you work with Autodesk Inventor and Vault with your team. Yeah, this is all.
Okay, that's really interesting. But I want also hear some features about SolidWorks. Ivan, listen to you.
SolidWorks has the same functionality, but I think in SolidWorks a little bit difficult than in Inventor create something like this, because in Inventor we have projects. When you change projects, you change all of templates, drawing, assemblies, and other. But in SolidWorks, you should change it manually. So I can show you. When you create a new part, one way it's I like it very because it's I think a big advantage in Inventor because I can customize my workflow. I can make some different toolbars, and I can move it from other sides of my screen, as you can see on my screen. And I think it's a very good advantage. I very like it. For templates, I can create some templates for this part. I can change, probably make custom document units and other settings, and after this I can save it and choose here part template. And I can name of my company, for example GFE, and I save it. So when you create a new part, you will have this template. I think it's advantage. And for example, in drawing, when you open drawing, you can change here your sheet format, and you can paste it probably your company logo, probably if it template will only yours. you can write it your name and surname, and when you create a new drawing, it's already pasted
It's like a template. Yeah, that you
yes, yes, so I can save it like a template, use the same.
It's nearly like in Autodesk Inventor. I think you can create it first a
yes.
template, and then you can use it for all drawings.
Yes, so if I create a new drawing, I already will have the same properties. I think it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, I think that each engineer say that if you will ask me what I prefer, what software I like, I think each engineer will say that he like software that he works now. Because when I start to work with Inventor after PTC, after Career Parametric, I say, oh no, I don't like Autodesk Inventor. It's very, very bad. I don't like it. I can't work here. But after 3 years, I can say that yeah, it's very useful. It's very good. A lot of details I have here, and we can customize everything, and we can work together with any problems. And each engineer in my life, in my experience, say the same, because you don't want to have something new. You understand that you already have a good software, and why you need to study something. But the main idea that we want to show that at first you should think that what manufacturer you have, for what company you create your constructions. Then you can understand what software better for you. Maybe it's Autodesk Inventor. If you work with a big steel structure, a lot of sheet metals, you have a good parts in Inventor, so you can use it. For another companies, maybe it's better SolidWorks, and for very difficult surfaces, maybe they should use maybe NX or maybe a PTC, I don't know. But the first question you should ask, for what I need my program, what should I produce, what should I create, and then you will understand what you need. So yeah, this is what I want to say.
Remember these wise man's words. That's a good advice, I think. Yeah. That's a good end of our conversation, actually. And the time ends.
Yes,
let's finish.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you guys.
Listen us, and now maybe you understand how works Inventor, how works SolidWorks, and how works engineer together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you guys.
First of all, you should know which you produced, and only after this you can know advantages and disadvantages of each soft and choose the best for you.
Or you can ask us, and we will say you what is the better way.
Yeah.